Let me know when you're ready.
Okay, you're good.
Okay, this is a meeting of the Hanson Recreation Commission. This is March 8th, 2021. I am Vice Chair John Zukos, filling in for our chair, Diane Cohen, who's not able to attend tonight's meeting. Present are myself,
Melissa Scartese.
Present Melissa Scartese,
Joan Frizzetti.
Brian Frizzetti.
And Smith.
Brian Smith, and our administrative assistant, Dory Jameson, is also here. So this is being a Zoom meeting, which is being recorded. And first, it's an open meeting. First thing on the agenda is the approval of the minutes from February 22nd. Has everyone read through the minutes? We'll take that as a yes.
I have, yeah.
Okay. Anyone want to motion to approve the minutes?
Motion to approve minutes of February 22nd.
Second.
And Brian Smith, I believe, has seconded the motion. All in favor? I am John Zugo is an aye. Melissa?
Aye.
Brian Frizzetti?
Aye.
Joan Frizzetti?
Aye.
Brian Smith?
Aye.
Okay, the minutes are approved. Next on the agenda is new business, the vote to authorize payments from the Winter Wonderland event. Dory, you want to take the honor of breaking that down?
Yeah, actually, that's a Juvie thing. I think I think it just better wait for Juvie to come for that one.
Okay, let's skip over that.
Yeah. Thank
Next
you.
is the vote on the Bay State restaurant products quote.
That one's to do the ovens.
Yep.
Yep.
I don't know. I doubt very much if you get any better price than them. I don't know if anybody has any discussion on it. You sent out the paperwork, so.
Yep. So the total is $3,663.02. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay. And what exactly are we doing? I see it on the thing, but it's sideways. I can't read it here.
I know.
Sideways.
Blodgett, right? They're going to clean out the Blodgett.
Yep.
Yes.
Yep. You're gonna take the top part apart first, clean it. They might even take it out of the building and do the work at their shop to get
Okay.
it done sooner.
Mm-hmm.
Because Brian can tell you that because he's the one
Yeah.
that talked to them today. He talked to Bobby Owens today.
Yeah, they're good. They're good over there.
Brian?
Yeah.
Did you speak to him?
Well, you just pretty much, said what I had to say, which is
Yeah.
they said that worst case scenario, because of the amount of dust that's going to be collected when they start taking things apart,
Right.
that if there's an issue with time, because I know we have certain time constraints where we need this oven up and running,
Mhm.
that it is very possible for them to go there and take it out and bring it to
Right.
their shop and then paint it and do everything they need
Mhm.
to do there and then return it.
Right.
They just
Okay.
haven't determined exactly what they're going to do yet.
Okay. Other thing we need is a pizza oven brush. The big long brush to get out soot and, ashes from cooking pizzas in those ovens. I noticed there was a bunch in the other ovens when I was heating pizzas up from the Winter Wonderland.
He has all that stuff there, John. We can
Yeah,
buy
he has
one.
all that. Yeah.
Yeah,
Mhm.
he's loaded.
Yep. Okay. So we'll take a vote on this to approve, authorize this?
Yeah, Dory, so I think you had mentioned, is this the same, how long is this going to take if we approve it?
Yeah. This is the pizza oven, so it's separate than the 4 weeks out.
Yeah.
I think Brian, is Bobby Owens, were they able to come in pretty quickly to do this work?
He's sitting at about 3 weeks out.
3 weeks. Okay.
So
Okay.
that's why he said that maybe the best alternative for him, and he'd have to check with his son, would be to actually physically pull that thing out of there. That way he can do his work while they're working on the interior. because he doesn't want to, he can't obviously paint when they're, creating a dust storm in there. So that was a possibility. He didn't guarantee me that's the way he was going to do it, but he said that is an alternative that they might do because they have all the equipment right there where they're at to, obviously fix it rather than bring all the tools to the camp.
Okay.
Right.
So
But
it's so Brian, you said it's 3 weeks. In 3 weeks, they'll be able to start working on it. And then what's the time frame for them to get this done?
Well, as soon as we give him a go, then he can order the parts. So it's just a matter of how long it's going to take him to drag these parts in.
Okay.
As far as repair works goes, he said they go by pretty quick. It didn't seem like it was going to be a huge deal to him.
Like a week,
But
weeks?
probably, I'd say probably about a week or so. Because I told him, I said, once we start going, time is we need time is of the essence, and we need this thing back.
Yeah.
So he understands how crucial it is. Once his, if we vote on it, once his piece comes in, he realizes how important it is to get this done and out of the way. He is not going to do anything to that other stove, though. I did clear that up with him. I wanted to, check with him. He's going to clean that out. That wasn't like part of the deal at all. He was more concerned about the bigger oven.
Yeah.
But it's not hard to clean the inside of a stove, I guess. So.
No, that's like I say, I use that oven during the winter wonderland. It just needs to be brushed out, just the soot and stuff in there.
Right.
That
But
oven works
he
well.
also said if you're going to do any major cooking, you don't want to use that one anyways, because they have like a diamond plate bottom. So whatever is going to cook in there is going to cook kind of unevenly.
Yeah.
So he doesn't recommend, heating up is one thing, but if you're going to cook, you want to use the bigger one.
And the oven with the stove, those ovens work, correct?
Yeah, that one's electric. The
The
one one's electric and the other one's gas.
gas, yeah. The new cook thing we got, range, that's gas, right?
That's gas,
Yes.
yes.
And that has ovens in it too, as well, right?
Right.
That's two.
Okay, yeah, so those work.
But the hood has to be done too, and Brian, give them a time frame on the hood above that new
Yeah,
stove.
the
we
hood.
have some concerns with an event that's coming up in April, and we're going to be in the midst of doing the range hood with the Ansel system. So,
Brian, we have an update on that.
yeah,
About
we-
the cooking class.
yeah,
Yeah, so I talked to her today. She caters as well and she has mobile cookers. So
yeah.
she's not going to use any of our stoves or appliances at all.
Okay.
So she won't be using our kitchen.
Right. Well, she'll be using the space. She'll just be using the tables just to do her demo.
Right.
Yeah.
Use all the food separately, and then she'll serve it out in the lodge.
Okay.
Okay.
Now, what is this event? A cooking class?
Yeah. So this is like off topic, but
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
with Abby, she's out of Norwell. She's going to
Yep.
do a 20 split. We're going to do a cooking demo and dinner.
Okay.
So it's chicken piccata. It's a 3-course meal. She does all the demo. She'll demo the actual chicken piccata on her. They're like propane.
Yep. Yep.
Really simple to use. She uses them all the time. She'll demonstrate the chicken piccata, and then she'll bring all the prepared meals with her and the desserts and serve everything. John, to talk to you offline about maybe some ambiance music during.
Sign me up for the class and we can put some music in there. Yeah.
It's on the Facebook page. So
Okay, I'll check that out. Okay. We'll do this. Okay, so are we gonna vote now on the restaurant products? The repair from Bay State Restaurant Group?
John, you need a motion?
We need a motion to vote on the
Yeah.
repair of the Blodgett
It's the
oven,
second one, Bay State Restaurant
Bay
Products.
State
quote.
Restaurant Products.
Second motion to approve the quote from Bay State Restaurant Products to fix the Blodgett and the bottom oven. And is that it?
That's $3,663.02.
$663.02.
We have a motion from Melissa. Can we get a second?
Second.
Second by Brian Frazzetti. And I vote aye.
Joan, I.
Aye.
Melissa, I.
Brian, aye.
Okay,
Good.
the ayes have it. The motion is passed. Next on the agenda is Easter egg hunt story walk. That's a juvie thing, correct?
It
Yeah.
is.
Okay, so we'll wait for Juvie to get here for that. Next is we'll skip over that. So yoga, drum circle, and Celtic arts on April 20th, 2021.
That's also a juvie thing.
That's a Juvie thing, okay,
Yep,
She's coming.
okay. Excuse me.
yep.
So we'll put that on hold. Next is accept donation in the amount of $250. That's the one we did last month or no?
This is actually a different one. This is from Kemet Electric, and
Okay.
they dropped off what? They dropped off approximately $250 of value of Christmas decorations that we did for the cabin and the lights
Yep.
with the Wonderland. So she's donating it. She's saying you
okay.
can keep it, so we can have it
Okay.
for next year.
Okay. I will motion to accept the donation of Christmas decorations from Kemet Electric in the amount of $250. Can we get a second?
Second.
Melissa seconds it. Any discussion? Take a vote. My vote is aye. Melissa?
Aye.
Joan?
Aye.
Brian Smith?
Aye.
Brian Fruzetti?
Aye.
And the motion is passed to accept that donation.
And we'll send that on to the Board of Selectmen
Yep.
as well. Thank you.
Exactly. Thank you. Next is discussion of loom and seed wood chips trees in front of the lodge. Let's
So-
discuss it.
Yeah, this would be the time where you should, think about how we're going to approach that. Whether it's, as you know, when we had the other project done, the second part of it was the loam and the seed or wood chips or whichever way that you want to go. So now would be the time, seasonally to decide which way we do want to go.
Mhm.
So,
Okay, so where are we going with it?
Well, we've got the girl with the gazebo that's supposed to be, you don't want to plant all this stuff if she's going to be working on her gazebo this year. So, we don't know where we stand with that.
Yeah.
One other thing is, if we're planting grass, and we've talked about this in the background here, we got a fire pit right in the middle of this area, and we could potentially ruin grass with logs and
I think we talked about no grass because then we would have to you have to keep it watered and it would just be too much maintenance.
Mhm.
yeah, but if it's, what's it going to look like is the question.
Yeah.
It's all going to be, is it going to be dirt and weeds? We pulled all the trees out of there, and now it's going to look nasty if we don't come up with a solution. And is it going to be an event area? So that's the question. If we're going to put a gazebo there, it's probably going to be, you're going to have events. So
Mhm.
we need to talk about the overall design and what we want to do. Because we got three pieces here. If we're going to if we have the money and we want to make it nice, naturally we need to put grass there. But we need to think about long term, what are we doing here? Because we're going to need it's a big area. You're going to need a sprinkler system. You just can't have a guy with a hose. It's just too big.
Okay.
Do we have any money left in that grant, Tori?
Yep. So we had 20,000 that we got appropriated at town meeting. We spent 14,300 to have stumps removed. So
Yeah.
we have the balance of that to be able to use for loam and seed or wood chips.
Okay. Yeah, if you do put a gazebo and you're gonna have weddings, you need grass. You can have wood chips around the gazebo, but grass in front of it would be nice. So where does that leave us?
One of
Brian?
the thought processes that we had talked about, might as well just come out and say it, was to wipe that entire area out, clean everything, rip the fire pit out, take the flagpole out, move the flagpole over to the right-hand side, make it one big giant grassed area with loam, grass seed, maybe some mini shrubbery, the little dwarf plants going around in mulch, so that way it looks presentable. And then when she when she finally does come down to build a gazebo, you can plant the gazebo dead center. Instead of worrying about, we're going to put the gazebo to the left, we're going to put it to the right, we're going to face it to the parking lot, not face it to the parking lot, face it to the firehouse. This way your gazebo can be put dead center facing at the lodge or away from the lodge, and you're going to have plenty of grass room for people to sit down on.
Brian, that's aesthetically, that would kind of be awful. I'm sorry. You've got this beautiful lodge. This gazebo is supposed to complement the lodge, not to take its place. I mean, dead center would take away from the look of the lodge in terms of like the, the little porch area. I don't, I don't agree with that. When you're having it off center, it gives it a little depth. It gives it, some charm. And first of all, I think the grass is honestly really a bad idea. It's a very acidic area. We've been told that the soil is just not conducive to that. You're going to have, this grass is going to need to be thatched every year. I mean, just the upkeep would be crazy. I mean, it's Needles Lodge, for crying out loud. Grass is not ideal in that area. I think you've got to think about the nature and like reinforcing something in that space that's not natural is I don't know. The gazebo, I definitely disagree that it should not be anywhere in front of Needles Lodge. It's supposed to complement, not take over, because and then if where Samantha had suggested it to be, guys, remember there's that eyesore of a parking lot. You've got a dumpster right there. You've got an empty, cruddy kind of like dirt parking lot. I feel like if a gazebo was there, you'd sort of hide a little bit of that and kind of add a little bit more depth to, kind of an extension of Needles Lodge. I don't know. I think right in the middle would be too symmetrical. It wouldn't.
Well,
aesthetically, it wouldn't look.
The
Well,
center of that area isn't going to cover the entire porch. It's not like that thing is perfectly dead center onto our porch at all, because it's not. It's off to the side. We could put a gazebo off to the left a little bit, so that way you can get some waterfront in there and some of the porch. You can put it to the right, which would cover up some of the kitchen. If you turn that thing towards any parking lot, you're not going to get any wedding pictures there. And as far as not planting grass there,
yeah, it's
that's
not.
the money in some loam. What are you going to do? Put concrete down there?
Yeah, concrete. That's what I like.
That's all you're going to have.
Well, it's only acidic because of pine trees, but those have been removed. I mean,
Correct.
We don't have that issue anymore. I mean, we can test the soil, and I know it's acidic now, but we can add things to it. We don't have the pine trees falling. So, I mean,
I have a question. Would it be worth, and I don't know if this has been done yet, but getting a landscaper, like
yeah,
a professional in just to have a look at the area and say, what do you think?
well, we had Mr. Diaz, right, Dory?
Yes,
I mean,
exactly.
we could speak to him and we can bring him back and just,
Yeah.
gauge his thoughts and
Yeah,
just see what things cost. That's all.
Mm-hmm.
he volunteered his services on that as part of this whole thing that we've already paid him to come up and look at the roots that may be coming through. And he was going to look at the different heights of it and provide his knowledge as to just that. That would be free of charge. So
You can tell him
certainly contact him.
about the gazebo project. We're going to have a gazebo here somewhere. What can we do to make that work with the landscaping and,
Yep.
Okay.
I mean, he may
So
come up.
basically, we're waiting for him to come in and check everything out.
Yeah, we can.
Yeah.
We
Yeah.
have power there. We can pipe it anywhere on that
Yeah.
whole front area. It's not a question, but
Yeah.
Yeah.
we all can walk the site and see what works for all of us, or,
Mm-hmm.
as far as a backdrop,
Right. Yeah, I guess this is just more of thinking that, is the, the consensus more towards seed and loam or more towards wood chips or more, where are we thinking of going with it? I think.
well, we can look at, what is this going to cost us? It's a big area,
Yeah.
What are we looking at? Because if we're going to seed and loom, we're going to need a sprinkler system. That's not something we can do with a hose.
Yeah, and I think, I think that might answer, kind of even encourage more, kind of getting away from all that grass. I'm feeling more inclined to use more the wood chips and a combination of like different gardens where obviously the landscaper can speak to this, but I've seen in different places where you have a woodsy area using a combination of rocks and wood chips, shrubbery, would probably be better in that space. And of course, I don't know that we want to fill that entire space up, a one-time thing. I think we really ought to think about, creating little gardens in that space so that you have different areas where people can walk around. And in the spring, the shrubbery there's a lot of shrubbery out there that's colorful and pretty. And so I don't know. I kind of think like the grass thing would just dull it. It wouldn't add to, it's a woodsy area, regardless of the pine trees in there.
Yeah, sure. If you're doing a wedding ceremony, you're gonna have to put chairs out there.
I mean, it can be a combination of things. It can be a grassy area surrounded by shrubbery. It doesn't all have to be grass like a football field. I mean, it can be a mixed, with, rock formations, everything. I mean, it doesn't, it can be some grass, but not all,
Yeah.
Some nice
I like
concrete for the chairs in front of the gazebo.
It could be patio blocks in some areas. You don't know. I mean, it's a big enough area to do a bunch of things. So.
Yeah. Yeah.
Joan, do you have a question?
No, I have a move I want to make that we have Dory contact Mr. Diaz to get and have him come down and look at there, and maybe he'll even have suggestions of where the gazebo might be, but have him come down and evaluate the front and tell us what he thinks we should do with the fire pit, with the gazebo, with whatever else we're going to put on the ground.
But is he a designer? I mean, does he have a design capability?
No, he's more elevations and that stumps and that type of thing.
Well, maybe we can talk to him about, getting a design or somebody he knows.
That's what you really need.
Right.
A landscape designer.
Yeah.
Couple layouts,
Yeah, and they
Yeah.
give us 2 or 3 options.
Yep.
Well, there's plenty of landscapers in town. I mean, why don't we just call 3 landscapers and say, hey, this is the area we want to work on. Show us what you can do.
give us free. They might give us a free, consultation or whatever.
Oh, sure. Oh,
yeah.
yeah, absolutely.
They want your business, they'll give it to you free.
Right.
Yep.
Yep.
No?
Okay.
Okay. So that sounds good. So let me do that tomorrow.
Okay.
Sounds good. Okay, let's go back now. Vote to authorize payments from the Winter Wonderland event.
Okay, yeah.
We have to make a motion for Dory to
No, I don't
contact
think
those
so.
people?
No, you don't. No. No.
Okay,
Thank you, though.
okay.
Okay, so the Winter Wonderland authorize the payments from Winter Wonderland. Does everyone have that on their sheet? It was in the
Packet.
packet that went out on the 5th.
This is Juvie, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
What's our cut?
Don't hear you.
Brian asked what the percentage goes to the camp.
Okay, so if you take a look at the after admissions and everything, and then with the sponsorships, I have, Dory, if you can verify. Hold on, I can't actually see this. Hold on a second. I highlighted it. I'm a wicked highlighter here. 898 is what I have. Is that what you have, Dory?
Yeah. Profit 898. Yep.
898. Yeah. 898. But we did spend a pretty penny, guys. We ended up spending $1,102. And there were big chunks of spendings, more specifically more for like the things like the signage. The lights were expensive, but we kind of figured that the $100 in lights would be something we can use next year. Dory and team did an awesome job. if you saw that video, I mean, for the little bit that we had, they did a pretty good job there. So, given that the lights were so expensive, we did spend a little bit of money on things like, the video guy that had to come out to do that. The signage, the storyboard for the snowman is 127, as you can see. So it just kind of added up to a little more than we're hoping. And we were one short of a sponsor, so we didn't quite make the $1,000 we were hoping to make.
Yeah, but you know what, Juvie? We got a great article. We got a couple good articles, and then so we got good press on it. So that's worth something too,
An investment.
Yeah.
Trying to read this paper. On this paper, it says 1,400 admissions plus $600. What's the 600? Is that the sponsorships?
Yep.
Okay, so it's $2,000. Profit is $898. I read that. Is that what Camp Kawani's getting paid? Is $898?
Yep.
Okay.
That's good.
Yeah.
So that's 20%. Or is this? I don't know.
No, that's not 20%. It's 100% of the
more.
proceeds, Brian.
Yeah.
It's 100% of the proceeds minus expenses. I mean, nothing was given to the Children's Museum. We had to pay for expenses.
That's the confusing part about this paper. It looks kind of I had a couple of concerns that I did raise with Dory about the square thing. And I don't know if she's talked to you yet about it, but I'm sure if she hasn't, she will.
Yeah.
Because we use Unipay. And I think we're going to
No, Brian, because here's the thing about this. Remember, if it were held by us, we cannot take sponsorship money. We cannot do that. So that's why this was run by the Children's Museum. This is not a Camp Kawani. This was run by the Children's Museum for the benefit of Camp Kawani. So we got around that. So this was not actually a rec commission event. This was a Children's Museum event. So that's where I think the confusion is. We wanted the Friends technically to run this, but they weren't prepared to run it. So we went with it, hoping that next year that, they can take a look at our game plan and that we can then have them do it for us. But this is not a RecCom event. This was a Children's Museum event.
the camp can take donations. Everybody is aware of that, right? You can call it sponsorships if you want, but they can donate money to the camp.
Not according to Beth. Beth said that a donation would have to be made to the town on behalf of the camp, but they could not be mentioned. It had to be like a quiet thing. Like we can't promote them. Like it can't be, sponsored by, we can't even put a video together. We can't do any kind of advertising, none of that.
Well, it gets addressed at the Board of Selectmen meeting, because in order to take a donation, it has to be voted on by us, which it would be publicized, and it has to be accepted by the Board of Selectmen, which would also be advertised on local cable.
Right, but these businesses wouldn't do that though. A lot of these businesses will sponsor something if there's a sponsorship level, and that's why a lot of towns, if you notice, none of these towns ever have sponsors. Like it's never. They never ever say, oh, we'd like to thank, like in Hanover when they have the fireworks, they never say we'd like to thank McGee Toyota for donating. They never do that. And what they have is like the friends do that. Then the nonprofit branch that runs Hanover Day does that, and they're able to do that because they're a 501c3. So it's all of these like regulations that have to do with like the ethics and everything. So that's why we had to use the Children's Museum. It wasn't our first choice. We had asked the Rotary Club, they weren't interested. And then we had asked the Friends, not interested. So I managed to convince the board, because it was going to be another story walk, which we're used to. And we also had access to the storyboards. So that's why we decided to just go with the Children's Museum, or else we wouldn't be getting the $600. It would be like a donation, and those folks would not be getting a sponsorship. It would just be a quiet donation to the town.
Okay, so who was the checks made out to from the sponsorship? That it get made out to the South Children's Museum and then it comes back? Is that the way it was done?
No, it was made out. It was made out to the Friends of Camp Kawani. It was made out to them, and they are supposed to write us a check after, just because one of the gentlemen just did that. So we were kind of in a pickle, but they are going to write the check back to us. In fact, we have another donation. Dory, I don't know if the Hannon Murphy donation came through.
I haven't seen it yet.
Yeah, so we were just figuring that it would be easier than it getting kind of donated to the town, that we would have the funds like a little bit more readily available for some of the events that we're doing.
Yeah.
Right,
Okay, so we need to vote to authorize these payments.
couple of,
The other thing I want to ask you guys is, this $898, is this going to be made out to the town of Hanson? I mean, how are we going to get this money? Is it just gonna, what?
Dory, you know the answer to that?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Make it out payable to the town of Hanson, and then I'll turn it over to the appropriate account.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Will
Okay.
we get it back, Dory?
It will be ours. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
All right.
Well, it's
That's
not
just
going
what I wanted.
anywhere. No, it was retained with us.
Okay.
Yep. So the $600 so that's just, we're just kind of holding off on that right now right, for that because that's payable to the Friends. So I'm not doing anything with that. But the $898, yeah, that's payable to the town of Hanson.
Well, it's
And,
only going to be, no, my share is only going to be, if you take a look, Dory, because the 600 was from those other checks, the Children's Museum has to write out the difference of that. So it's $298 is what the Children's Museum is going to be donating. The other $600 is from the sponsors.
Okay, so the $298, yeah. So if that's made payable to the town of Hanson,
Yeah.
we'll
Okay.
keep
All
it
right.
in our account.
Juby, do you have the paper in front of you?
You gotta mention Camp Kawani on there.
What,
You
Joe?
sorry,
can't
what?
just do it to town of Hanson. You're gonna have to mention Camp Kawani.
Oh, yeah, payable to town of Hanson. You can do / care of Camp Kawani, or in the memo line, Camp Kawani, certainly.
Right. Otherwise, it won't get to our account.
Yeah. Okay, Juby, do
Yeah,
you
we'll
want to
make
make
sure
the
that's on
motion and spell everything out, where everything's going, then we can vote on it?
Sure. Okay. So
Yep.
we're going to make a motion to accept the $600 in sponsorship on behalf of the Camp Kawani, that we would like to give to the Friends of Camp Kawani, that will be redonated back to our program that's upcoming in April. And I would also like to ask that we take another donation from the Children's Museum for $298, proceeds from the Winter Wonderland.
Mhm. That's a total of $898. And then all the other, we have to mention all the other payables in the motion.
I think you can just say as presented, and I'll just
As
include it in the
presented, okay.
minutes.
Okay. So there's a motion on the table. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Melissa. Any further discussion? Let's take a vote. John Zuko, I vote aye. Juby,
Aye.
Joan,
Aye.
Melissa,
Aye.
Brian Frazzetti, Brian Smith.
Aye.
The motion has passed to accept, authorize the payments from the Winter Wonderland event.
hey, John,
Yep.
did I miss the part about us teaming up with the Friends of Camp Kawani? Because I lost connection on this end. And I had a concern with that.
What's your concern?
Okay, well, first of all, none of us have talked to anyone from the Friends of Camp Kawani. They've been out since we've been there. Before we start and continue to have people write checks to them, it would be nice to have, if not their entire commission or whoever they are, at least their chair come in front of us. So that way we can kind of come to an agreement of how things are going to be handled.
Yeah,
moving
Brian, that's,
forward.
I think we're actually, Diane is actually on, working on that with the friends. And I know I'm kind of jumping the gun here when we get to that section. We also have we have an event in April where we're going to do a day with a library offering a camp at our camp for the day. The friends are, we're asking them to basically pay the contractors for that. And the reason we're doing this, Brian, is we would like for them to participate with us so that we can then begin to use their 501c3. So that is actually, we are negotiating that. We have a meeting, or they have a meeting rather, on the 21st, I believe. And I did want to facilitate the conversation, or show up to their meeting. But I know that they have a planned meeting on the 21st, and I know they will be in touch with us after that.
Okay, point being, none of us have okayed them even coming back into the picture. I have no problem with joining hands or with them to move things forward, but the 3 times we've done it in the past, and yes, I know we can't live in the past, it's not come out at all. So I don't know why people are cutting checks to them and they're cutting checks back to us, and that someone's putting the cart kind of a little before the horse when you guys are planning things with them without the entire commission being part of that conversation.
We haven't, Brian, we have not planned a darn thing with them. Okay. You cannot start building a bridge if you keep, talking about all of this other stuff that it does not help moving forward. These people have our 501c3. They don't own it. There are other
We have a
people that-
501c too.
No, we don't.
No, we don't.
Yes, we do. We have a 501c. The camp has one.
Yes. The Friends of Camp Kawani have that. They run that.
No, the camp has the 501c.
Joan, we do not. And
Yes,
I can
we
tell
do.
you.
I went over this with Bill,
Oh my God.
with Billy when he was there, and he said we do. Check back with the town. I'm sorry,
Okay.
but you're wrong.
Yeah,
I know.
Teresa Santalucia is the legal counsel for the 501c3 for the camp. She did get it for the camp on behalf of the town. And I can tell you that the Friends of Camp Kawani own that 501c3. So you can check with the town yourself, Joan, but that is.
I
what we were
have a
told.
copy of the 501c that the Friends of Camp Kawani have, and it's under, I think it's under Cameron's name. It was originally under Boss's name, but then it got changed. And it's
Okay, we
in
don't
her
hold that
name, it's not in
501c3.
Camp Kawani, so I
Joan, that's
don't
not
know
how it
where you
works.
got that information.
You just cannot take their 501c3. You are not on their board. You are not part of that organization. That is not
I'm
how
not
it works.
using, I wouldn't use their 501c. I'm using ours.
It's not
Altogether.
ours.
We do
Don't-
have one. The Friends of Camp Kawani have one.
John,
Oh, dear my God.
John, we don't have one. Okay, this is.
We
this is
said
my
we
point,
did.
dude. Okay, we don't. He was wrong. He's wrong about a lot of stuff, but that's completely beside the point. This is the way I see it, Judy. I don't care about the past. I'll put the past behind us. It's perfectly fine. I want someone from their commission in front of our commission, which runs Camp Kawani, because I want to know how things are going to be handled. Maybe you guys don't, but I do. And I want to make sure that this is a proper handshake. I don't care about the past. Moving forward, I want a good handshake. And I want to make sure that the planning is done through our Recreation Commission in agreement with them, rather than somebody else calling the shots that wasn't assigned by the town to call the shots.
With all due respect, Brian, okay, I understand that's what you're saying, and that's been the holdup. That's why you can't move forward, because one camp isn't willing to have a discussion about, what the other is doing. You, on both sides, you're making these ridiculous demands. That's not how this works. I've been
Demands,
working with
Judy, we're the
nonprofits.
Recreation Commission.
No, they're not. I understand that, but you know what? We do not have the capacity to fundraise. That is not what we are. We are a municipality. We are connected to the town. A 501c3 is not who we are. That is what they do. Okay,
Why
that's what
can't
they
they
do.
meet with us, Judy? Why
Correct.
is it behind the
You
scenes?
know what?
Just come before us.
I
That's
gotta tell
all.
you, that's not our baggage. That is not our baggage. They've got other things going, but they are we are
What?
trying to plan that bridge, and that is
Whoa, wait a minute.
working.
Then you
They
can
need to
forget,
come
let's take a
before us
vote
as a commission.
Are you crazy? They have
They
to
are
meet
going
with
to come
us.
before you. You know what? But you need to stop right now because
Whoa,
this is unnecessary. They are going to come before you. You just need to calm down because they have to also talk amongst themselves and figure out how this is going to happen.
You would
that's all we
Okay, so we're going to
want them to come
facilitate it.
before us. That's all we want. We don't want these.
And you know what?
side
They will, but right now they have not organized in many years. They have not done a thing in many years. They are fragmented as well. So, we are trying to get this 501c3 back, but the way this works is you need a governing board, and they are currently still listed as the board. And so right now, what they're hoping is to include some other folks that are new folks that will want to join the Friends of Camp Kawani to give it new life. And they are citizens of this town. They have helped the rec commission before. We have a good, friendship with this new group of people. They're volunteers, townspeople that are going to join in with this group. And, everything aside, I really don't care about the past because I need to get things done. And I think all of us in this RecCom want to get things done. So whatever happened in the past is what happened in the past. The way we're going to move forward with this is, as a rec commission, understand and respect the process of a nonprofit. They have a board, they have the 501c3, they process the paperwork every year. They have not been inclined to help us because it has not been a positive relationship. And when you begin to make demands instead of listening and
Whoa.
you come before us, come on guys, enough. I mean,
No,
you
come on. We
before
haven't
us.
made
We haven't made
demands. It's been
demands.
the other
That's where
way
you're
around,
wrong.
Judy. It's
You
been
come
the other
before us.
way
I mean,
around.
they're going to come before us. You want them to come
That's
before
all
you
we
and
want.
what? And do what, guys?
And tell us
What they want to do, what their objectives are.
Because before they dictated what they were doing for us. That's what would happen.
What you
before.
want to do is so do you want to have a say in how they run things? Because that's not how
No,
it
we
works.
want to be included in the dialogue and not be told that they're going
Absolutely.
to do
And
what
you're
for the
already
lodge.
making the assumption that they're not.
That-
You're
that's
already
the-
making the assumption
Then
that
come
they're not.
before us and show us. That's all. Show us what
And
you
you
do.
know, but you're already assuming that they're not. And I'm telling
No,
you
I
that
haven't.
they're reforming. What is this entire conversation about? I told you they're meeting on the 21st and they're coming up. They are with encouragement from new volunteers. They are trying to revitalize this Friends because we need that 501c3. And with the help of new volunteers, with new thought, progress can be achieved by people who want to move forward. And you know what? You guys, you just have to remember that they need time as well. They are volunteers. They, need to get together and regroup. They have not been active. They don't have, all these resources. So they're going to come together on the 21st and we will hear from them. And that's all, I can tell you right now. I can't make them come before you. They're going to. They're not just going to willy-nilly do anything here. They're trying to regroup and they're trying to figure out what to do. And right now, we as a rec commission, we want them to fund
My name
the
is.
the April event. And that's something that I kind of like spearheaded, and I asked Diane for just the thought of doing events at the camp. And I know that this is something that I wanted to spearhead as a RecCom member to get recreation at the camp during April vacation. I wanted it done in February, but it didn't happen that way. So we're trying to kind of build this. This isn't something that we don't have a blueprint for this. So, we've decided that the best way to get any of this grant funding moving forward is through the 501c3. I can tell you, you're not going to get that with the 504 or whatever it is, the tax code that the town has. Municipalities often don't get grant funding. That's just not how it works. So there are avenues and they're willing to come to the table.
True.
So that's
Right.
all I
They're
can tell you.
willing to listen as a commission. That's all we
Perfect.
ask.
Then, okay, perfect. And they will be coming, but give them a chance to get together,
problem.
please. And, to come right out with a dialogue that says, well, we want to know exactly what you're doing. What kind of, I mean, come on, think about that. What kind of
isn't what we're
messaging is that?
No one
asking.
ever brought that forth.
You're
They will-
misunderstanding the whole question.
No.
Brian
listen,
Frazetti, good,
the
Brian.
tone, the tone. The tone was not okay.
Brian?
Here's the part that's not okay. And me and Brian have been through this probably a million times with the commission and commission members. As a commission member, you cannot start talking dialogue with outside sources and not keeping the commission up to date with anything. If we meet with someone, we'll use this kitchen as a perfect example. We meet with the people from the kitchen. At the next meeting, we report back to the commission of whatever conversation has been made, whatever prices we've gotten together. When we did the locks, we told people, this is what we're planning on talking about. This is what we talked about, and here's the end results. What we keep getting is, well, we met with them and we want to do something with them at this point in time. As individual commission members, we can't do that. You can't do that. Diane can't do that.
We vote on everything. I'm sorry. We vote on everything. I have spoken to you guys about getting a rec in during the vacation time. We started the conversation with December. It didn't work out. With February, I very much told you that I had written a grant on our behalf, to make sure that we got some funding for.
We did not vote on the Friends of Camp Kiwanee having checks written to them to give the camp. We did not vote on that. We didn't know the Friends of Camp Kiwanee were going to be part of this. So no, we weren't included in the conversation, and it's getting a lot out of control with this crap. We want to know what's going on up front, just as the facilities group comes together and lets you know what's going on. So if you are working with Friends of Camp Kiwanee, which is perfectly fine, we welcome them. We've been welcoming them for over 5 years. We want to work with them, but it's going to be under, I don't care how you look at it, it's a business. And if we can't work together, then maybe they won't come back, because they're not going to dictate to the Recreation Commission what's being done at the camp. It has to be an agreed upon thing.
They have not dictated a thing. They have not dictated.
It never was before.
Oh, yes, they have. Sorry.
Okay, you know what? This is not going to. You guys just have to believe that we're going to facilitate this. We've been very open about it. We have disclosed that.
Dory.
Yeah.
Dory, in
Yes.
the past, when we bought the tables for the babies for the bathrooms, okay,
I'm sorry.
they were purchased under a 5013C. And I believe we used the town's 5013C. You can probably check back on that, because we didn't have to pay taxes on any of those things that we bought at that time. And even when we go to Ace Hardware, we don't pay tax. So there's got to be, we have to have a 5013C.
Well, we are tax exempt, just being a municipality.
Right.
We are tax exempt anyway. So
Right.
you're right. We don't pay tax.
Okay, so
We can't as a town. Yep.
But that's not a 501c3, Joan. That's an ST2 or something else. It's a different tax.
That's an ST2.
Juvie's right. Juvie's right on that. We
Yeah,
do
it's
not
an
have a
ST2.
501(c)(3).
no,
I
we
don't have
don't.
a
We use
problem
whatever
with
the town
working with
has for a number.
Yeah, exactly. That's our 501 number,
Uh-huh.
whatever.
Yeah, so
ST2.
just can you just, they will come to a meeting, but you've just got to, they're getting together, I believe, on the 21st.
Do you know who their members are right now?
I have no idea. Joan, I have no idea. We just want them to participate with us so that we can begin doing some of these events at the camp with their 501c3, so that the town will be happier with such things as sponsorships and gifts of money, and much easier to run type things. So there are so many restrictions just being a municipality. So that's why this isn't something new. This isn't like a scheme of whatever sorts. They do that. This is what's done in Hanover very successfully. The Friends of Forge Pond, for example, are there. The people that raise funds to get supplies for Forge Pond. Any improvements that they have that the town isn't able to pay for in the budget, the Friends will raise. In fact, most of Forge Pond, it was fundraised not by the town, but by this organization. And we are not going to be able to do a whole lot. We're playing with pennies here, guys. We don't have a budget. It's not like the town is ever going to finance anything that we have. I mean, give me a break. We can't do that. And so this is why this 501c3 is important. And not just that, but we should have a very healthy connection with the Friends. And the Friends should be more townspeople. And currently they just don't have the group right now. There's an older group, and they're trying to revitalize. And all we're saying is that we're waiting for them to there are a few new townspeople that want to take it over and maybe grow it. So we're trying to encourage that. We're trying to show that as a rec commission, we're progressive, we've improved, and we're doing a lot of great things at Camp Kiwanee. So they're on their end, they're trying to do the same. So if we can, maybe just adjust our tone a little bit, in that we understand that, it hasn't always been positive, but we're working towards it. We do want full disclosure, and this is how we're going to do it. And I can tell you, we have to be a little patient, because they don't know what that's looking like either. They're not put together.
So basically,
right now.
we're cutting them a check for 600, and they're cutting one back to us. Is that
No,
what
so
we're-
basically, John, basically what's happened is all of these businesses that moving forward, when they do sponsorships, because it's a 501c3 they're writing it to, it's a tax deduction.
Tax deduction for them.
Yeah, for them. So your Indian Head Water, for example,
Mhm.
he wrote it out to the Friends of Camp Kiwanee. So he started off with that. I was a little surprised, but okay, that's fine. So what they're going to do is, what we want them to do is to donate back the funds to pay for. We have a yoga guy coming in. We have a West African drum circle guy coming in. We have to pay them the 3 hours that they're going to be here from 9 to 12. And also the Celtic art thing. So we want them to pay through the money that we got, exactly $700, by the way, $400 for the yoga, $300 for the drum guy, pay the contractor. So it doesn't have to come out of our budget. So that's really how we should move forward, that all of these rec activities, if they're not funded by the town, which we know they're not going to be, should be funded by a 501c3 with monies garnered or sponsored or taken from private foundations, or even you can write out to family foundations. But that's how everybody else does it. And we haven't been able to do it because we haven't had a positive relationship with our Friends. And all we're saying is it's time to build that. And you can't build that if you've got both sides that are, kind of not open to at least conversation. It's difficult, I understand, but you've got to give the other person the benefit of the doubt that we need to move forward. And that's what we're trying to do right now. We're just trying to get them to the table. They're reorganizing, and they're going to come before us.
Okay.
We
That's
have
all I
no
can tell you.
problem with that, Juvie. As long as they're transparent and they're open-minded, we have no problem with that. That's all.
Okay,
Well,
Brian,
Brian, and I think, that's our hope, and that's what we're working towards. So that's all I can tell you. I can't speak for anybody else, but all I can tell you is I have some faith in that the new people that are coming in are going to be very transparent. And, we've worked with them. I've worked with them in the past, and I think you'll be quite impressed with their track record. So I think it's a positive thing that we have to kind of hope is going to work out.
okay, we need to move on, but Brian has one more question. This will be the last question on this, and then we need to move along. Brian?
It's actually a two-parter. When is this drum guy thing that we need to do whatever with? What's the
Well,
date?
that's on the agenda coming up, so we'll get to that on April 20th. It's on the agenda, new business.
You said
Yeah.
it's April?
Yeah.
All
April 20th. It's Tuesday, April 20th.
Mhm.
right. Do we know who the chair of the Friends is of Camp Kiwanee? Or do you know who the chair of the Friends of Camp Kiwanee is?
On the paper, on their tax paper, it says Chris, Cameron on the tax paper, but I don't know. I don't know. They haven't, their website is outdated. It's 5 years was their last activity. Everything has been 5 years. There's no movement. They've filed their taxes though, but that's about all we know.
All right. This can be handled one or two ways. I'm going to do it the diplomatic way and just say, I would like to, because I haven't had any conversation with any of them. Obviously you have, and obviously Diane has. I would like to invite one of them, any one of them, whether it be the chairman or secretary or treasurer, whoever, to our next meeting to just sit down so we can talk about what each side is going to help each other's out with. if that can be done in a simple way of just saying, can you ask someone if they can show up at our next meeting so we can at least talk? Fine. If not, then I have no problem with motioning it, which is not the way I want to go.
How do I get my picture, Charlie?
So, I mean, I just would like somebody, instead of saying they can do this, they can do that. I know what a nonprofit can do. I mean, the place right up the street from here is a nonprofit, so I know what they have the power to do. But that's only if everybody's willing to work together. And I'm not saying they're not, but I'd like to talk to them about it, not take secondhand information, because that's not the way I operate business.
Oh, and Brian, and I, you know what, Brian, if I could make this different, I would. But I promise you that this is not something that is ideal for me as well. I get that, but we are working on what we have right now. And please give them an opportunity. Give them an opportunity. Okay, so in the next few weeks, you will hear one way or another. Okay, so just give them an opportunity, please. We will have those checks. Legally speaking, I know Teresa Santalucia. I've spoken to her. She's the legal counsel behind that. She said that there was an agreement that if it was donated on behalf of Camp Kiwanee, that the Friends, they are legally bound to give it back to us. So and we already stated to them that there are many things that they can donate those monies back to us for. We've got a lot of different things going on. So to be honest with you, I have full confidence in that. Teresa has been a legal counsel for the town. So, I think that we can, in good faith, move forward with this.
That wasn't my point. That wasn't my point at all. I asked if somebody, it can be Teresa Santalucia for all I care.
And she might, and Brian, she might come, and I don't know. That's why please wait until they meet on the 21st.
They've been sitting on almost $2,000 of camp money for the last 5 years.
Brian, can we address that at another time?
All I'm asking for is one person come to the commission and talk to us. And if they can't provide that, it's not me that's being pig-headed about the whole thing. It would be them.
Okay, well, don't make that assumption. So wait until the 21st. So
I'm
just
not.
wait,
I'm asking
please.
you for our next meeting if we can get someone, because again, I'm not talking to anyone. It's you and Diane that are spearheading this thing. I just like to talk to one person. That's all.
I will bring your request to them.
Right.
Joan?
Okay, so we'll wait until the 21st.
Joan?
Yes, when are you supposed to be getting the cultural council $1,000? Is that for this April?
Yeah, but so the way the cultural council grant works is you need to spend it first and then you send the receipts in. So basically the $700 we're paying about $700 to the contractors. They're going to bring everything. They're going to run the thing. The rest of the $300, the other $300 that we are going to we're not going to keep it. We still have to buy supplies like paint supplies and canvases for the Celtic art. We also want to use that money to pay for our caretakers. So whatever the caretakers cost for that particular day, from the 9 to noon, or maybe even 8 to 1, because we need prep time and cleanup, that should all be included in the grant. And the Cultural Council will cut out a check for $1,000 to us.
Okay, my question is, who is that check going to be made out to in the end after? Because it'll have to be paid to the, who's going to be paying the yoga and the drum circle? Is it the camp or is it the Children's Museum?
No. The Friends of the Camp Kiwanee are going to have to pay it because the monies that were donated to them by the sponsors, they're going to end up paying it. So all of those
Cultural Council check is not being made out to the Friends of Camp Kiwanee. That's not how they issued it. They issued it to the camp.
To the town of Hanson. I know it's going to be made out to the town of Hanson, Joan.
Camp Kiwanee.
We don't have an account. It's town of Hanson. That's who they're going to issue it out to. Town of
We
Hanson.
do have an account because we have the camp.
Okay, well, it's going to be issued out to the town of Hanson.
But
Okay,
yeah, Joan. Yeah,
On
we'll
that
make
one, you
sure
just have to follow that check.
Yeah, they're all, yes, exactly. It's always payable to the town of Hanson, like all, the wedding checks and everything is payable
Right.
to the town of Hanson. But we ensure that it's our money, no question. It stays on our enterprise.
That's all that I want, to make
Yep.
sure that it goes to where
Yes.
it's supposed to be
Absolutely.
and not being held by somebody else.
No,
in
it's
the
not going
past.
into any general fund. It's staying right in our enterprise. Yep.
Okay, let's move on
Yep.
to the Easter egg hunt story walk on March 28th. Juby?
Yeah, so we're gonna do I think we're gonna do my head is fried. Hold on a second. Where's that list that I have? Okay, so we were gonna do an 80-20, and I was gonna pay for all of the caretakers that needed to be a part of that. I don't think I need more than 2 unless you guys feel that I should have more than 2, but I would like to pay for the caretakers. And the story walk, it's just the same idea. I need to kind of keep with that story walk just because it's a literacy initiative for the museum. And it's easier for us to get, like, again, sponsors, same idea. I know that the commission, or at least, Diane and Melissa or anybody else was not going to be able to do the bunny walks. It just wasn't enough time to plan it. So my board, and I have some volunteers on the Children's Museum side, we decided that we would just run it. And that looks like it's sold out for the 28th. And I had asked Dory to do the same for the 27th. And I think, Melissa, you have something going on in the afternoon, but we can have the event from 9 to noon, right?
Okay, sorry, I missed that. The 20.
The 7th.
On Saturday,
27th.
Juvie?
Yeah.
Is the
Something's
28th
going
9
on
to
at
noon
2?
as well?
Oh,
No,
the-
it's on
Oh, no.
Sunday. It was longer. We couldn't put a ton of people in there because of the COVID numbers. So
Mhm.
I did not pack them again. So it sold out quickly. And so then I asked about Saturday just to give the remainder families a chance to go. And I think Dory said, or I don't know if it was Melissa. Dory, you said it was available, but 2:00 there was something going on.
Was there something on the 27th? I don't have the calendar in front of me. There could have been, if it was Saturday, it would have been yoga in the morning.
Nothing on at least the 27th.
No, it was, oh yeah, that was a paint night or something, right? It was fine,
No,
wasn't it?
happening. It's the first, the adult wine glass night is April 3rd. And then all
Okay,
events are in April.
okay, so I need to check the 27th.
Yeah, I sent you the list of events, Dory, today.
Oh, no, I know, but I mean, what Juvie's talking about now, March 27th,
Oh.
Juvie's thinking there's a conflict. So let me
No,
just,
in the
check.
afternoon, we were only going to go till noon. So
Okay.
Okay, yeah, that sounds right.
yeah,
I'll check
so-
that.
Yep. So yeah,
What's
I have
I'll check
you
the
know,
calendar tomorrow.
we have several volunteers for that. So that should be all set. Again, I'm going to share the square reports and the cost of that, but that was an 80-20 with the camp, just so that we continue to have events there. I don't know what other events our RecCom is planning, but I know that's that one was easier to do because I had other volunteers on the
So,
Children's
I'm sorry,
Museum
Juvie,
end.
the 27th was gonna be part of that Easter egg hunt story walk? Okay,
Yeah, it was like the 9
9 to noon you needed?
noon.
okay. All right, I'll check
Yep.
that out tomorrow.
And what time is the Sunday one again?
The Sunday one was the volunteers have to be there at 9, so 9 to
Yep.
technically 2, so it ends at 2. Yeah, so 9 to
Okay.
2.
Do you need me for those days?
So,
No, we have no, we
You
we
have
have
someone?
yeah, we hired the DJ John. So
Okay.
and we had a couple more
Yeah, you told me
volunteers
that.
from our mommy's
Yep.
group.
Okay. Cool. Okay, next up is yoga, drum circle, and Celtic arts on April 20th.
Yeah, so that's our what we were hoping to do eventually, I think, is have activities during vacation week. I know we don't have
Mhm.
funds to do much more, to do like quarterly type things, but I thought it would be a good start to do these things, because when you write for grants for family foundations, a lot of them will fund running programs. So when you have a program that's already running, it's easier to fund something like that, and you can get it funded. We don't have any money coming from the town in terms of a budget, or at least not this year. So our thought was to run one day. This is in conjunction with the Hanson Public Library. They're going to do the registrations. They're going to take 15 fifth graders, 15 sixth graders, 15 seventh graders, and they're going to be coming to Camp Kawani on April 20th, check in at 9:00. They go to 3 centers. The first center is a drum circle. So it's actually different for all grades because everybody's going to rotate. A drum circle where they do a West African, a drum circle. They learn how to play the drums. They do like a solo. And then they do the second thing that they do is yoga. So they do like a lot of pose. It's supposed to have something to do with ancient civilizations. So the ancient Indian yoga, practice of yoga, West Africa, obviously African civilization, and then Celtic to tie into like the Irish art. So design that they had on their weaponry and like their clans, a lot of their art in Ireland and Scotland. So the kids are going to paint, they're going to dance, and they're going to do yoga. And it's 3 hours, it's free, and you have to be a Hanson Middle School student.
Juby, what
And yeah,
on the 20th?
I'm sorry?
Time does it run till? What are the hours on that day?
Till noon. So I think the way that the drum circle guy said was he needed 50 minutes. So it's like from 9 to 9:50. Kids, clean up, wash up their hands or whatever. They go to the next center.
Mhm.
We were thinking we were going to try to use the pavilion for the drum circle, and then the Needles Lodge for the yoga, and then maybe the library for the Celtic art. Or if it's nice out, maybe they could even sit outside and do their painting of the Celtic art. And so those are the 3 centers. They're going to go 9 to 9:50, 10 to 10:50, 11 to 11:50, and then parents come pick them up at noon.
Yeah, because I have a paint session, a family paint session for the kids scheduled at 2:00. So I think that.
No, they're out of there by noon.
All right, cool.
And actually, Melissa, we can pay, I was thinking we should have 2 caretakers there. I was going to ask for Maddie and Emily. I don't know if they're even going to be available, but if they can be there, the grant, we have $300 from the grant that can pay for our 2 caretakers and the supplies.
Got it. Okay.
Okay. We all set with that?
Yep.
Okay, next up is the discussion of the arborist, the trees. And who's got that? Who's in charge of that?
That was something Brian Frazzetti asked to be put on the agenda.
Okay.
Just in light of the tree that just fell down next to the lodge, and that's thanks to the highway department for removing it. But it, big part of the tree fell down and it's all removed. Which begs the question of the rest of the trees around the lodge.
Brian?
Yeah, the concern being, I know they took down a bunch of trees that everybody has done nothing but complain about, but they were dangerous coming down Camp Kawani Road. I don't know how much an arborist would cost, but I think we probably need one considering we've lost a cabin to 2 trees that nobody knows were dead. And then we had the tree that, if Dory's new car was parked there, probably would have got hit.
It would have.
I think it would just be nice. I don't know how much they cost. I don't know even who to talk to. Maybe Phil Clemens might have an idea, but I think we might want to have an arborist take a walk through both sides of the camp and take a look at the tops of these trees. And if there's anything, that's questionable from a trained professional rather than, unfortunately, our tree wardens aren't arborists, so they're not really trained professionals. And neither was the person who took down the trees that were coming up the road. At least if we have a professional go in there, he might be able to, or she might be able to pinpoint some potential trees that we might want to get down there, or even if we have to cap them. it's better than an entire tree coming down on another cabin or a person or a car or something. So again, if anybody might know who we could call for an arborist, I mean, I could probably just look on a computer, but I think that it's probably best for us to have someone really kind of walk that north and south end and around Anita's Lodge to make sure that trees aren't going to continue to fall.
One thing we might reach out to Highway, maybe they have some contacts, somebody can, they might do it for nothing or not charge us a lot, but we need to know what's diseased and has potential to be a liability.
Yeah.
And that's all. Yeah.
Yeah. I can call Highway tomorrow.
I know a poor Highway, we asked them for like everything. When you,
Well,
Well,
they
they're
can give us a
wonderful.
name,
They're
Right.
wonderful. Yeah.
they're great. Dory White, as a matter of fact, while you mentioned Highway, I know I mentioned it this afternoon, but while you're on the phone with them, just as kind of a simple reminder, when they were doing the plowing, they got giant things of like pieces of tar. Could you maybe see if they could either send one of the big rigs back down the back, drag that, or maybe if they could put a just something to bring the tar back into the parking lot would be nice, because it's once it starts raining, it's going to be nothing but giant mud puddles.
Where is that, Brian?
If you look towards the north end when they did the snow plowing, you probably got about
okay.
2 feet of
Yep.
gravel.
Yeah.
Maybe, I mean, they can probably, because
Okay.
their rigs are big enough. If I could do it with
Yep.
my truck, I would. I just take my
Yep.
snow plow and back drag it. But there's
Sure.
no way my plow's even going to budge that, all those
Yep.
rocks.
Sure.
Thank you.
Okay.
Yep.
Moving on. Here we go. Discussion of opening the Cove.
So I know that Diane's not here tonight, and she just asked me to speak, and she had put this on the agenda. And it was just a discussion of, because everything's going to open up, hopefully March 22nd, if we, stay the way we are. And she did speak to a couple of people that were lifeguards and, thought we could maybe make it happen. So it's just up there for discussion. Originally, you had voted that we weren't going to open the Cove. So in light of the new, opening of restrictions, is that something for rediscussion, or what are your thoughts on that?
Good, Brian.
Just speaking for myself, I'd like to stick with the original motion of keeping the Cove swim at your own risk for this season, because yes, a lot of things are opening up, but we still don't know where we're going to be at. It's a positive thing where you're going to give the townspeople of Hanson a free place to swim again for another year, and bring up a discussion of next year. Because if we start hiring people now, we're just going to lose our shirts again. And that's just my opinion. Give the people something for free, and they'll put you in a good light.
We're not going to have the general population vaccinated by summer. I mean, it's only 10% now. It's going to be a slow roll, but that's a lot of money to take a risk on, when we're not generating any income.
Right.
Mr. Vice Chair, what do you think?
I like money. I'd like to see what happens.
You like concrete.
Yep, concrete and money. My opinion is, let's see what happens in April.
I don't think we can wait till April. I mean,
Yeah, I know, that's the problem. You
We
gotta hire
can't.
people.
you're gonna have to hire lifeguards. We don't have a beach director at this point. So,
Mhm.
I think it's a lot you have to do before that, because again, you'd have to hire the lifeguard, you'd have to hire a beach director, and then if for some weird reason they say no, you can't open it that way,
And
then
screwed,
now we
yeah.
have to say sorry,
Mhm.
you don't have jobs.
Yeah. Joan, did you have something?
I just wanted to say, we need to make plans for next year, not this year. This year is just, like he said, free for all. Let them have the sign, just like we did last year, open whatever the hours we had last year. I think it was 9 to 6, something like that.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Let
8
it
to
go with
6.
that.
As long as town council agrees that we can, we won't be liable for anything.
Right.
We weren't liable last year, so
Mhm.
we shouldn't be liable this year as long as we have the signs up.
Okay. So we're gonna keep it the way it is.
Correct.
Okay, any discussion on Macaroni Kid?
John, can I just throw something out?
Yes, you may.
What if we were to offer swim lessons?
We'd have to hire lifeguards.
We lose our money every year off of swimming lessons, Melissa.
Yeah.
We that's our biggest hit is because you have to hire the WSIs at a higher rate of pay.
Yeah.
And if I were to choose to get rid of anything, it would probably be swim lessons. I know it's fun, but that's where our profit goes, like right out the window.
And I know, because I did chat with Diane a little bit before, it was like last week. She did offer the opinion or the suggestion that maybe we contract it out to a different group. You know, I haven't looked at numbers. I have no idea, but if a third party were to run them and we necessarily wouldn't run them, they would run them on their own. That might be a possibility.
I would say so. I think that's going to be a town council thing, though. How much liability are they going to accept at a municipal swimming hole? Would probably be the only question.
Yeah.
You know, would it be taken
That might
off
be
of our
something
back
they
or
wanna-
we stuck with it?
Yeah. I don't know if they, must hold their own insurance and,
Right.
but yeah,
Mhm.
I mean, it's a
But
possibility.
again,
No.
right.
Oh,
But then when you
someone's
get back
interested.
to if someone there gets COVID during their swimming lessons, it still comes back to the camp. That's the only thing that concerns me is just a negative persona that we've had for years that we're trying to get rid of.
Okay. Next up is Macaroni Kid.
I think we have to table that, guys. That was
Table,
all,
okay.
pending if we were gonna even,
Mhm.
we don't have much to advertise right now.
Right.
So just kind of keep tabling that until we've got something big,
Okay.
to bring up.
Okay, discussion on the Scouts package.
Oh my gosh. Well, we still have nothing.
Yeah.
This is super hard. I don't know what to do.
Table that.
Lori,
Yeah, I think so.
do we ever hear from that troop from Pembroke?
No,
No, okay.
I don't think so. Not to my knowledge.
Mhm.
Okay.
Okay. Old business correspondence. What do we have? Dory?
Old business correspondence? I don't have anything on under
Mm.
that. Thank you.
Anyone have anything under that?
Well, I think the only thing we covered, which would mainly be the stove and do we have a maybe we can and I can't rely on my memory, Dory, unfortunately, but maybe you can speak to the timeline of what we talked about today with the fabrication guy and then Gordon and things like that, just to bring
Oh,
everybody.
yes, yes. I thought that may be coming up next on the team reports.
Oh, sorry.
I didn't want to steal your thunder.
Oh,
I
no,
didn't know
can
if
have
you
the
or
thunder
Brian
anytime you
wanted to
want.
speak on that.
You
Or-
can keep that thunder.
Okay.
Okay.
Moving on to team reports. Who's first? Which team?
You want facilities or?
Sure, facilities. Yeah.
Okay, we're looking at a 4-week timeline for the stove according to the range hood guy.
Mhm.
Gordon wasn't a factor because we can use the existing structure.
Mhm.
So if we're looking at that for a 4-week timeline, we're also looking at the stove rebuild within that time frame, correct? At 3 weeks?
Mhm.
Okay, as far as the electrical, I'll be reaching out to Dan Driscoll this week for another site visit to talk about knob and tube and lighting in the lodge itself, what we can and can't do there, because that should be the focus first in the lodge. So that will be later this week. Probably I'm looking at Thursday, or Friday
Yeah.
afternoon for that. And then that's pretty much it on that front. And we had talked about all the other discussions in regards to, the gazebo and all that, but that's to be determined.
Mhm. Okay. Next
And
team.
remember
report.
that's a start period of 4 weeks. I mean, we might be able to get them in sooner, but
Yeah.
when we're talking 4 weeks, it really means probably 6, 7 weeks because of the amount of time it's going to take them to do the work.
Mhm.
He said 3 to 4 days on that, but then the other guys are probably a week or two after that.
Right.
Is coordinating that work with the electrical and the suppression systems and permitting.
Okay, next
Right.
up will be the events team. Melissa and myself, we had looking at some screens
Mhm.
for the drive-in things. I mean, there's a big difference. You can get a screen for 25 foot for about 400. Melissa doesn't think it's high enough. She found one that was 6,000, which I think is a little too expensive.
Yeesh.
Yeah. But basically the same screen, but one's just higher than the other. Can we build a platform or something to, what do you think?
When the Norwood Recreation had a drive-in, and I went, and they had, I think it was Boston drive-in movie. It's a company that does drive-in movies, and their screen, that's the one I was talking about, John. That
Right.
But the thing about it is their screen allows movies to happen in a flat parking lot, which is what, like, if you go to a drive-in, it's angled so that the car,
Yeah.
the way back can see.
Mm-hmm.
If we were to do it at our facility or somewhere at a parking lot, it's all flat. So the people in the way back
Right.
see, unless the screen is like super, super high.
Mm-hmm.
That's the screen that I was talking about.
Yeah. I mean, it's quite a difference in price.
Well, I mean, you're looking at quality and professional, I think.
Yeah, but you
I would
take
guess that you're probably talking about it's probably a thicker screen made of a better material. And again, I think I understand what she's saying is your screen is actually not going to be straight. It's going to be pulled up and pitched.
Right.
So that
it's
we're
like
not doing these.
5 or 6 feet of like blow up material.
Mhm.
Right.
Starts high. So it's much higher. And I think there was like 25 foot.
Right.
Huge.
Mhm.
Did you get their business card or anything? Is that maybe something we might want to talk about bringing them in to maybe do the event? I mean, I don't, again, you guys are the events people.
We did that the last time we brought in a company to do the event. Yeah. Mhm.
Well, this
How did that work?
specific company, but I can for next summer or whatever.
Yeah.
How much they charge. And they provide all the speakers and stuff like that.
Mhm.
They actually
Yeah.
provide concessions too,
Right.
Right.
Mhm.
if that's an option. But
That might be a better option.
Sure.
They-
Yeah.
we'll get something from it.
Mhm.
We'll provide an event and we
Mhm.
don't have to buy all this stuff.
Yeah.
Because we
Yeah.
gotta
See what the
store it.
price is. We can make a profit on it and not have to do the work.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
a good thing.
Into it.
Yeah.
I just wanted to go through. So April, just the events that I've set up for the past week. April's kind of busy. We're doing another wine glass painting night. That's April 3rd at 4:00.
Mhm.
And we're gonna bring in the Create with Kath woman back.
Mhm.
And then we're doing a cooking demo and dinner at the camp on April 10th at 6 p.m.
Yeah. Okay.
It's going to be 80/20 with this woman, and I think I mentioned it in Norwell. Her name is Chef Abby. She's full time. It's a small business she runs. She does like travel too, but that's kind of nixed at this point. There's tons of cooking out of. She does Zoom call cooking. She does.
Oh my gosh, she's out of Norwell, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I went to one of her. She's like really, yeah, she's awesome. She does mothers clubs.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. And she brought the wine. So I liked her.
Yes, she's great. So she's and she's willing to do a kids cooking class, which I think will be super popular. So we're gonna do we're gonna do 3-course. It's more of a demo. So she's gonna demo the chicken piccata. She's gonna have most of the desserts made, but she's gonna demo it and show people how to make it. She's gonna bring her own portable stove, and we don't have to use any of our equipment. I did talk to Dory today. We probably will have to have we'll have to talk about the oh my god, my
Butcher block.
butcher blocks. The butcher blocks temporarily treated, because I know they're not up to code at this point. But I think that it's pretty easy. I know Diane had talked to Gil about what the caretakers could do to treat them temporarily until we decide what to do, if we're replacing them or whatever. So they would prep the food, and she would bring all the meals, and then she's going to have people eat out in the, we're going to set up the round tables, linens, and people will eat dinner out in the lodge. And then hopefully, I don't know, April might be a little bit too ambitious. I don't know. I was hoping a few tables outside, maybe people could sit outside, but I don't know. We'll see how that goes.
Brian?
On that one, Melissa, I just had a question because I was reading the cooking class thing, and it's a fantastic idea. Obviously, mine and Brian's concern is that kitchen, but if you got that rectified, that's fine. But it doesn't say how many people for the $85.
Oh, what do you mean? It's 85 per person.
It's per person. Okay. All right. Because it wasn't clear. It just said 80. When I went to click on it to see if it said like 1 people, 2 people, 3 people, 4 people, it just said 85 period. It didn't say per person or anything like that. At least I didn't see it.
I'll check it. Yeah. And they get they also get the recipe to take home. She puts together a little thing, for people to take home. And she's also going to do like trivia while people eat. So like trivia and like she'll have her own prizes and stuff like that. So she makes it fun for people. So yeah, so it's, hopefully if it goes well, she'll do more. She wants to do a kids one. So hopefully that'll be something new. And then we're doing 2 paint nights during April vacation. One we're doing a turtle, and then the other one we're doing a frog. Both on Tuesday, April 20th, and then one on Thursday, April 22nd. Both at 2:00 p.m. So that's with Kath and something for kids to do on April vacation. And I also posted on Macaroni Kids Plymouth. So those got posted today. So hopefully we'll get some traction on those.
If you need them on the website, let me know.
I'll send you the list, John, if we can.
Okay.
That would be great.
Yep. Okay. And I'll help you out on the 10th.
Oh,
the
Brian.
cooking thing. Yep. Okay. Brian?
Question?
Just a quick note on that. I know this is something you worked on, what was it, almost 3 years ago, Melissa. This was brought up. I just wanted to thank Melissa personally for staying on board with it because, I know it got shot down the first year because it was like last minute. It was right before Christmas and it was, it won't work. But I think it's a great program and it's something that I think is really helping the camp out. And it seems from what I've seen from pictures, and I haven't heard any complaints from anyone, that it's really successful.
Yeah.
Yeah, I took my daughter to one of them, and she's really good. And she sets. I mean, and especially with the COVID going on, like limiting. Now we can have more people at these sessions, but I mean, we kept everyone separate, and everyone wore masks, and it was great. There's tons of space, and everyone was comfortable, so it worked.
And it's good to see pictures because a lot of times we have things going on at the camp, and you never see a picture. It's like, oh, we did this, but you don't see anything. But it's good to see the pictures. I noticed that pictures were, of the finished product and all that. And I think people like seeing that stuff, not just, oh, by the way, we had a paint night.
I know too. Well, speaking of like seeing pictures and stuff, if you guys have any, like with the Facebook, like if you guys have any posts, like it can be about anything, like about nature, about, I don't even know, just like camp themed, or if you think it has to do with Camp Kawani, I can make a post and do that for the Facebook page. And it's good, and people love the updates. Dory's gonna send me a list of stuff that's going on around the camp, but like even if like random facts, sometimes I do quotes, with a picture of stuff like that. So if anyone has any suggestions just to make it creative, let me know. We can do a post.
No, do you have comments allowed on that, Melissa? Because I notice sometimes I can read what people say, sometimes I can't.
I have to approve the comments.
Okay, because I clicked on one, I'm like, what's a comment?
Yeah, sometimes I hide them because they're not appropriate.
They're not good.
But I keep an eye on it. But normally I don't think I think I have to approve them. The admin has to approve them.
Which is fine. I mean, the only thing we had a problem with, I know with Matt, was people have their First Amendment rights and yada yada yada. But we had a disclaimer that was supposed to be put up on the page that said that this is for informational purposes only. Any negative or derogatory things towards the camp will be deleted immediately, and or you will be banned from the website. I don't know whatever happened to that, but it's something that if we can find it again, maybe slap that up there, that little disclaimer. So that way, if you do, say stop someone's, speech from going through, We don't have someone saying, oh, you can't, like, freedom of speech, I can say what I want. Well, no, you can't because you're coming onto someone else's website.
Mhm.
And there is a disclaimer.
Okay.
Could we, post things that we're doing as far as facilities, whether it's, I know Dory, you're working with Gordon in regards to the walls and varnishing them and stuff like that. And when the stove project is complete, I mean, something that could be posted too.
Definitely. Melissa asked me for that, and I asked her just to hold off just because I went today. I'm just waiting for the TA's, seal of approval. Once we get that, definitely. We got it
Yeah,
all
we could-
ready in the works. We just
could do
don't
a
want to
work
do
in
it
progress.
premature. Yeah, we just don't want to do it prematurely,
Yeah.
and then
Yeah.
that could backfire. But
We
no,
don't want to say the
absolutely, Brian.
kitchen's done.
Yep, we're ready. We're ready to go just as soon as we can.
Yeah, I'm
Okay.
just thinking once we're done, post it, whether it's
Yes.
before and after, or this is what it looks like now, or because people
Yeah.
have an idea that it's all
Yes,
decrepit, and that's not always the case.
Joan?
exactly.
Yeah, there was something that, there was an update. It goes back to February 22nd, but it had to do with you putting on a Frank Sinatra thing.
Right now, tickets are going to Juvie. Tickets have been sold, holding them. He's going in for surgery on his foot on the 26th. So
Okay.
he'll be down and out for 6 weeks. So maybe we could do something in mid-May. I don't know, whatever.
I thought maybe June or July, we could do something
Whenever, yeah.
and then do the Frank Sinatra. You could do it on, if we have an open Saturday night or something.
Yeah.
And
Mhm.
then, and to do a golden oldies would be a different type of show. And just have the older tunes for the senior
Well, we
citizens.
could combine the two together,
You think
He'll do
so?
like an hour show.
Okay.
And, the rest of the 2 hours, we can play some nice, things like that. Yeah. Maybe do some trivia. hmm So Juvie and Dory can keep an eye on dates, but he's going to be out of action for, once he gets his surgery for 6 weeks.
Uh-huh.
Surgery's on March 26th.
The other thing too was, now I lost my train of thought. Oh, I'll have to think about it. I can't remember now what
Okay.
it was I was gonna say.
Now, do we have any weddings coming up
Oh, that was, yeah.
this
Do
year?
oh yeah, well, we have, I believe one in May, and then, we have June, July, August, we're like really full in 2021.
Mhm.
And
Okay.
we're getting so many calls now. I would have to say in the past 3 working days,
Mhm.
there's been like 17 calls a day about wanting to book
Wow.
a wedding. Once
good.
now it's like, we're heading in the right direction. The
Yep.
word is out, and we're getting the calls. So I think it's going to be really good. I mean, we're already booked and, basically in 2021, 2022 is filling up.
Yep.
And yeah,
We have
we're,
weddings this year, right?
pardon me?
We have weddings on the books this year, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
we're in 21 now.
Yes. Yeah. Starting May,
May.
June is booked, July, August, September and October, totally booked. We have some
Mhm.
Fridays and Sundays available in like May and June, maybe. But other than that, we are just like totally booked. But we're getting so many calls now
Mhm.
about 2022, like like a lot, So
Mhm.
that's good. That's exciting. People are feeling positive. People are feeling like things are turning around, and you can
Yep.
feel it, and they're
Mhm.
excited. So it's really starting to pick up where it's just been dormant forever.
Mhm.
It feels anyway.
Brian?
Dory, a quick question to you. What's our capacity right now that we're allowed to have in there? I don't know if it's been raised or not. I apologize,
Well,
but following it.
As of March 22nd, if we still stay like in a yellow zone, as of March 22nd, we're going to be able to have 100 people inside and 150 outside, meaning capacity 150, but 100 people inside. Whereas,
Mhm.
today we can only have 10. So that's why people are getting excited and they're calling and they're booking and they're, it's almost like frenzied.
Cool.
Because it's turning around.
Excellent. Okay, what other teams do we have? We haven't.
What?
Any other teams do we have?
Oh,
That's it?
I think we're
Okay.
out of teams.
We're out of teams. Okay, department head up. They were in the home stretch. Department head updates.
We got that. Okay,
Brian?
so,
One
yeah,
on the teams part, I'll ask because I'm guessing my mother forgot, but as far as the business plan goes, I would like to turn the business plan over to the first part of the business plan over to my mother,
Mhm.
which would be mainly setting up the goals and whatnot. And what she would do is she would go through Dory to talk to each one of the members of the commission to, find a goal, what we're looking for, how we're going to obtain that. And then I can come up the back end with the policies and procedures. And then the two things will go together and there's our business plan. And
Okay.
I think it would go a lot smoother than writing a novel for them, because from what I understand, the only thing they want is a simple bullet point of what you're going to do, how you're going to do it. And then following that with policies and procedures, and then we'll never have to worry about this again.
Mhm. Okay.
But we'd obviously need the commission's blessing for her to do that.
Do we have to vote on it?
Just a
And
simple yes or no, I guess,
Yeah.
Dory.
yeah. Oh, yeah, it definitely. I was just gonna say, Brian, did you say you had that in Word, so it would be easy for you to do? Or,
I have the original one, which is policies and procedures is not a big deal for me because I
Okay.
have that, plus it's on our website, the
Okay.
original. But I also have the one from the attorney in my computer.
okay,
So
good.
it has to be backed up because we no longer have that department head. So that's probably going to be the longest amount of time for me. But other than that, there wasn't a ton of changes. So my part's pretty easy. It's just my mother's part would be more difficult of, getting to all the information from you guys, like, Melissa, what do you want to do and how are we going to obtain that goal?
Oh, yeah,
And then she talked
sure.
to so,
Oh, yeah. Totally
Joan?
internal information. Yeah, whatever works.
Joan?
Well, I'd like it to be like what we like to see done every month, like with February vacation. We've already got some items this year. What would we like to offer next year? Anything additional? Same thing with the April vacation. If we can continue on with that. And then also like what month we would like to talk about the Cove, what we want to do there. Those are basically goals, and that is a business plan. And the same thing with Juvie and her ideas that she has for doing things. But that's basically what the business plan is what we've done in the past, what we'd like to see continue in the future, and go from there. And there's always got to be more ideas. I mean, like the Frank Sinatra night. I mean, we could do some other bands other times, not just Frank Sinatra, but if there's anybody else out there that does things, other groups of music, we could put them on, next year or some other time other than,
Right.
this year we know we want Frank Sinatra and the golden oldies. Next year we can plan on, John, you must have a list of different groups.
Yeah. I mean, we weren't able to do the St. Patrick's Day this year, which we do
Right.
every year.
Right. So, that would be on the list of March 17th. You like to have the Business Network sponsor the March 17th,
Yeah.
the activity. So, that would be on the list for next year,
Right.
date to be decided naturally because they would be the ones to choose it, but they usually pick a date. And then we'd have to have a list of, I don't have a wedding list and I can't get into Google. So it would be nice if you had like what we have scheduled for April, period. They'll go into May, what we have listed so far for May, and send those out, even if we do them on Facebook.
Mm-hmm.
So, I know, but like I say, when we changed computers, I got elected out of Google, so.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we can discuss the details a little bit
Yeah.
later. I just wanted to make sure it was okay with everyone that, because again, you have mother, son. I just don't want it to, look like the Frazzettis are running.
Right.
It's turning into Camp Frazzetti. That's why I want,
No.
commission, if that's okay. You know, someone like Brian Smith might come up and say, "Hey, the Fazzettis are taking over the camp." Just kidding, Brian.
No, because Juby's got some good ideas. It's just that
Absolutely.
how to implement them, get them going.
Okay. Does anyone have any objections to that or? Okay, so that's fine. Okay. Department
thank
head
you.
update.
Okay, so I'd just like to update you quickly. Municipal bid, we did have some for the mixer. We had a gentleman come down from Plymouth and he loved it. And he said he's going to bid 100, our bid is $100. He's going to place a bid. It's still 2 days. So I don't think he's bid yet because he wants to wait. It's like 2 days before the bidding ends. So looks like we'll be getting rid of our mixer for $100.
Oh,
So
very good.
good for us. Yeah, he was excited. He came down, he looked at it, he liked it. So yeah, it was fun. And then secondly, we had the tree fall. But highway, big thank you to them. They came the next day in the chipper, they chipped it up. The next day they came, they took the big stumps and trunks and everything, got rid of it completely. I didn't even pick up the phone and ask. It was done.
Wonderful.
So, I know. I called them and thanked them on our behalf. Much appreciated. And thirdly, the CPC article that we wanted to do, and speaking to the chairman of the Community Preservation Committee, he's like, you better just his good advice was waiting until the fall because we have a lot to research and we, to look for other means of funds. It's way better to wait for the fall. So I said, that's good advice taken. So in that, because of that is why I sent you today, which you pretty much voted on. And I brought it by the town administrator today, just to get his approval and the town accountant's approval. I don't see why we wouldn't. And if we do, you can see what we can spend all that, insurance money out on, which would be great for us. Unless anybody it feels that they want to change it up. But
Yeah, what are we doing with the $7 extra?
Donuts and coffee.
Lollipop.
You can only get a half a dozen of donut holes for that kind of money. I think.
Yeah, not donuts, donut holes. Inflation.
Or you don't have to answer this, but I just have a quick question. Did you ever resolve the issue with the computer?
Okay, so that was it's kind of like a ping pong game. And it's as of today, it's gone back to the town accountant, going to the town administrator, saying that the town of Hanson needs to pay for the computer for the rec commission. So that's where it stands. So no final yes or no, but if I was a betting person, I would lead toward the town is going to pay for the computer.
Yeah, you
Which
might want to
should.
give them a quick backlog on that one because I probably shouldn't have asked the question without explaining what it was all about. But
so we had the bill for the computer, and the IT director said, okay, we pay for that out of our account. So I said, well, that's fine, but we don't have any funding line for that. I mean, so I went to the town accountant's office and I said, how would you propose I pay for this? And they said, well, you shouldn't be paying for this. This should be out of the $4,000 that's left in the IT article. Okay. So I did that. And then it came back, no, you should be paying that out of your own budget. Okay. So, and then I went back to the town accountant's office and they said I should be paying it out of my own budget. And they said, no, you shouldn't. So it's gone back and forth. So I think that probably I did receive a phone call this afternoon that the town accountant was still waiting on the town administrator's final decision, and we'll probably hear tomorrow. But I'm pretty sure that it's going to be paid out of the IT budget, which is the way it's been paid through the town. So I think that's how that's going to go. So that's $1,300 relief for us, which would be great.
It's the least they can do.
Yeah.
Okay, so moving down the list.
And then so then, just to comment on the sign, just waiting for the final approval from the town administrator that if you approve of what I sent you today, dated March 5th, which I think you will, we're a go. And that's it.
I still say you should have had the sign picked up and he would have been like, where's the sign?
I know, they were ready to pick up the sign, and I'm like, no, don't, because can you imagine what happened? Somebody stole the sign at Camp Kawani.
That'll,
know,
teach
and
them
then the
to,
ti-
that'll teach them to take a vacation.
Mhm.
Yeah, I know.
So do we have to vote on this street sign here?
We already
No.
did.
We already did, right? Yeah, we already did.
Basically,
Okay.
this is more informational than anything else.
Right,
Just
okay.
giving you an update of where we stand. We're moving forward. We're doing great, getting a lot of things done.
Oh,
I feel really good about it. I think
Uh,
we're going to be able to, get the camera system, get the sign.
Mhm.
It's going to be great. And then Gordon was in today. The Brian and Brian were in today on the other thing, and he got a sample to do the baseboard, and then half the wall in the lodge, and
Mhm.
we're gonna we're doing good. Although I think we're in
Okay.
good shape.
Dory?
Yeah.
Dory, can you hear me? I am gonna schedule a time, probably, I don't know, this week, maybe next week, to meet Chef Abby, just to walk the kitchen and just show
Yeah.
her what it looks like and the layout.
Perfect.
I'll let you know.
Okay. Yeah, that'd be great. I'd love to
Boy,
meet
is she
her.
gonna be surprised.
Be like, what?
Pleasantly?
Is it-
What?
Yeah.
Joan?
yeah. Did we vote on the insurance funds already?
Yeah, you basically did before. This was more informational. Unless the only thing that's different, Joan, that you didn't vote on was that I added the solar lighting.
Mhm.
And I did that out of the quote from the secondary sign person, because it came out to the $7 that we could pay for donut holes. So
Mhm.
unless you have a problem with that, which I think, it made the math work, basically.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
the other thing that we want Gordon to do is we can pay through out of our budget, just in the existing line item of refurbishes to the lodge. So this all works, unless there's, something in this that you wanted to talk about.
The
Or
only
feel free to
thing
take a vote.
I'm going on the when it comes to the you still there?
Yeah, I'm right here.
Mhm.
I lost my picture. I'm down to Ara. The only thing is that maybe we might want to talk to somebody else about the solar lighting to see if they might have a different figure than the 1900.
Absolutely. That's
That
why
would be the only thing, would be to contact another company that does the solar and see if they have a different price.
you're
We
completely
might
correct.
table that
Yep.
for the electrician that's coming
Yep.
up to look
I
at
just-
the
yep.
lodge
I just put-
lighting. I can ask him that.
Absolutely.
Okay, that's the only thing. And I mean, other than
Okay.
that, it takes care of all but $7 of what the thing did. So I mean, if we have
Exactly.
anything left, then we can figure out something else that we want to do with the rest of it.
Exactly. That's
If
why
we
I
get
put
more than that.
it in there. I feel
when
like
is
it
our
could be
next
less,
meeting?
but it wouldn't be more.
Next meeting is March 22nd
March 22nd, okay.
at 6:30. Is that what we're
Yep.
doing again?
Mhm.
Yeah, that one's already been set, so we can
Right, okay.
set up another 2 meetings after that, I guess.
Why don't we wait for Diane for the next one, see what her schedule's like. Okay. We have a
Okay.
motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Second?
Second,
Bye.
Second, okay. We have a second from, I'll give that to Joan. All in favor, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay,
Aye.
meeting is adjourned. Enjoy the rest of your evening.
Have a good night.
Thank you.
too.
Have a good
You
night.
too.
Take
Good
care.
night,
Bye-bye.
Hi, guys.
Bye.
Good
See
night.
ya.